Just one question. Am I supposed to solve this or not?
HBO didn't send us review copies of True Detective Season 2, and I think it's probably because you and Scott and I were not big fans of True Detective Season 1. So we're following along with this series just like everybody else is. What do you think so far?
I will say off the top that it's better than the first season, for sure. I'm just trying to decide if it's better for me because of a few actors in the show that I'm enjoying so much. I love Taylor Kitsch on television. Taylor Kitsch, I think he's fantastic. And
burning intensity, smoldering.
Smoldering intensity. You see his butt in the first episode. That was interesting. Also, Rachel McAdams. I mean, she is a Canadian treasure. I absolutely love her as well.
I'm commanding officer of this detail. You call me, you've got something.
That's the thing with the show. It's so serious.
It's a pout festival.
You do not laugh. You do not smile while you watch the show.
No, and it's a laborious grind, and I certainly felt that of the first season. There's lots of artistic kind of reach in the first season, and it ultimately became a successful thing, even for me, watching the entirety of the first run. But we had to sit through so much McConaughey and his nihilistic speechifying inside of the car, and there is some of that this time.
I welcome judgment.
Set in this fictionalized, very industrial subsection of Los Angeles called Vinci, which is completely overrun with corruption, and all kinds of really gross people are in there. And hovering in amongst them is this mover and shaker played by Vince Vaughn. And he's always interesting to watch, but he has to do some of this nihilistic speechifying. And that got a little dreary.
The house and the poker room were double mortgaged.
Colin Farrell and Taylor Kitsch and Rachel McAdams all play different cops that are put together in this case where this high-ranking politician has been murdered.
This man's a missing person with us.
Bezaritas, Ventura Sheriff, CID.
Paul Woodrow, CHP.
They're trying to solve the murder and also try to get to the heart of all the corruption that exists within Vinci.
Sure.
But some of the cops are in on some of the corruption, and some of the cops are just complete bystanders. Taylor Kitsch plays this twisted motorcycle cop that his whole agenda here is just to get back on the bike.
He just wants to get back on the bike. Well, he's had some messed up things happen to him, which he starts to talk about a little bit, or his girlfriend starts to talk about a little bit. You don't really learn a lot about these people until later into the second episode. The first episode, I had no freaking clue what was going on. I didn't know who these people were. They were having these conversations that I couldn't really follow. I feel like I had to watch it again because maybe I was missing something.
Well, I think that's the appeal of the show, is that it turns you into a true detective as you're watching the show, because it is elaborately written, and there are some interesting surprises, and anybody that's seen the second episode knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's creepy, and there's also this kind of Robert Town-esque Chinatown script quality over the way that they're setting up all of the mousetraps in the show. So I'm a little bit more hooked this time. It feels like the stakes have been raised. I think there's more interesting characters.
You want honest? Tell me, how compromised are you?
I just believe in the acting so much more, and I believe in the story just a little bit more because it does have me involved. Like, I really am intentively listening to these conversations. I really want to know what's happening next. Am I depressed after? Yes, absolutely.
All the people look depressed, and they're all pouty, but they're more interesting, broken human beings than the what I felt was very superficial, broken human beings in the first season. It's more interesting. I think that's just the case. It's just a more interesting sort of way that they're putting all of this together.
Season. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm staying.
All right, what are you going to give it so far?
So far, it gets a 7.5.
It's an 8 from me. EP's TV coverage is brought to you by Xbox, makers of Rare Replay for the Xbox One.